What is up, everybody? Alex from ANAK Creates here, and today I want to talk to you about 5 different ways that audio can dramatically improve your videos. Whether you're a video editor looking to just improve your own projects, or whether you're an audio engineer looking to take the projects to the next level for your clients, well, I have ways for you to do that. So something that I always find with the quality of videos online these days is that audio sometimes takes a back seat and doesn't get as much attention as it deserves and as much attention as it should get to drastically improve the video quality. Today, I want to share with you some different ways that even if you're just a video editor and want to improve your edits, right down to when you start or before you even start editing your video, these things will help you get your video to the next level and the best quality possible, even if you just take a little bit from each thing that I'm about to say, and it can be built up over time to improve even more and more and more. So the first and probably the easiest thing for any editor to do starts before the editing process even happens, and that is picking the right music. You have to pick the right music for the vibe and the emotion and what you want the viewer to feel when they watch the video. Because even if you're just doing a talking head video, but you want some background music to kind of keep the pace going, you want to just make sure that the music that you're putting behind the video actually makes sense with what you're talking about. If you're talking about something very sad, you don't really want to have a dance beat going on in the background. Even if it's very low, it just doesn't make sense and it kind of confuses the viewer. However, if you're talking about something very sad and you have a nice piano ballad, something soft and slow, that will add to the emotion of the video, making people want to engage with the video, watch for longer, or just feel more connected to the video. So let me just show you an example of one sequence with a song that was actually used for the final production of this video and another song that is incorrect, but it shows you the importance of matching the feel of the edit and the vibe and the emotion that you want under the edit with the actual song. This is a video I did with my friend Jonik, and I did the sound design for this. I'll leave the link for this video in the description below. So first, the track that we actually picked for the video. So, as you can tell, it matches very much with exploring and seeing the mountains. Next, I'm gonna play a track that I just picked and added that's clearly not the right track. As you can probably tell from that little clip, it's a very different vibe with that dance track underneath exploring the mountains. Maybe that is the right vibe for the video that you're doing, but just knowing what that vibe is will make a big difference when you're picking the music that you want in your videos. Second thing, going right along with that is when you have the music that you would like to have in your video, you need to make sure that you edit the music so that it has the same story arc or energy arc as the video. If you think of a normal pop song, it starts out with the verse, goes into the pre-chorus, which builds up to the chorus. Likewise, in a video, you have setup shots, which then build slowly into the pinnacle or the point of that cinematic sequence or video itself. So not only does it go along with the actual edits you're gonna make and trying to create that story arc within even a little cinematic sequence. Now that could mean taking the music track that you find and editing out pieces so that it sounds like it flows just right for the video you want. It's something to keep in mind is making sure that that story arc and that energy arc match between the shots, the shot pacing, and the music itself. So the third thing, this is one of the easiest things that editors can do. You want to match the cuts of the video with the beats of the music. This just makes the edits feel more intentional, makes it really feel like the music and the video are matched and are meant to be together. It gives the video flow, it gives the video pace, and it also just makes it feel so much more professional. It doesn't have to always be on the downbeat, it can be on just different beats or line up with different instruments in the music, but just make sure that you're paying attention to what's happening in the music to match your edits with that. So the fourth and fifth thing are both sound design, but there's 2 aspects to sound design I want to talk about. So the fourth thing is sound design, but based on reality. So what I mean by that is just creating the environment that you're seeing on screen. A lot of the time, if you're vlogging or talking to the camera, you just leave the mic open because you're talking to the camera. And what happens is the viewer then gets to be a part of the environment that you're in. They can hear, for instance, the cars passing by or the room that you're in. But when you're dealing with something like a cinematic sequence, often editors will mute the audio from the original clip. Now, this still works. You still get the cool cinematic edit. However, to bring the viewer further into the video, if you add the environment, the sounds of the environment, just slightly in the video, you make the viewer feel like they're actually there in that environment. It makes them a lot more engaged in the video and the sequence that you're portraying. So I'm going to show you that same sequence that I showed you with just the music and no sound effects. Then I'm going to add the sound effects that makes you feel a lot more like you're in that exact environment just by simple sound design that I added. So here's the sequence with just the music that was added to the clips. As you can tell, the music has a little bit of environment in it. It's very spacious. That's why the song was picked in the first place, was kind of because it gave you that breathy feel of being in the mountains. Now I'm going to add the environmental sound design so you can hear the difference of what I've added to it to make you feel like you, as the viewer, are in the mountains. So now let me play it with just the sound design, no music, just the sound design that I added. So you can hear exactly the kind of environmental sound design that I added to this sequence. Even that simple amount of sound really helps you feel like you're in the environment and you're actually there. So the fifth thing is sound effects, or sound design that's not catered to reality, emphasizing things that are happening on screen with sounds that aren't necessarily real. It's like adding sound to animations. If you had a title come on screen, it slid on, having a sliding sound. Now, text sliding on screen wouldn't make any noise, but you're adding sound to emphasize that animation or that movement. So let me show you an example in that same video that I used to emphasize something that was happening on screen that wouldn't otherwise have a real sound to it, but I added one just to give a bit more attention to what was actually happening. So in this example, we have a drone shot that goes through two trees. In the reality of the sound design, that would just be wind noises and outdoor bird noises. But what I added that's a sound effect is I added kind of a whoosh sound as I went through the trees to make you feel like the tree was rushing by your ear. So let me play that for you. So let me play that again without the music, and you can hear the whoosh very obvious. If you're on headphones, you'll hear each tree has a whoosh that goes beside your ear in time with you actually going through the trees in the shot. Now, the sound effects that come in after that are the reality of the next shot to kind of pre-emphasize what's going to happen. But you heard the whoosh of the trees going by your ears. This is something that wouldn't otherwise have a real sound, but in this case, I wanted to emphasize going through the trees and make them feel just that much closer to you. Now, this kind of thing can be added to just about anything on screen, whether that's animated titles, giving them a sound, or subtly emphasizing something that's happening in a cinematic sequence. But adding that along with natural sound design and just in creating the environment, both of them together makes the viewer feel more engaged and involved in what's actually happening on screen. So I hope those tips helped you and gave you some ideas on what you can add. Having those in mind when you're editing and when you're coming up with ideas even really helps give you ideas of what you can do and what you can emphasize and how you can use those sounds to really bring more attention to certain things in your video. Along with editing to the beat and just picking the right music when you're starting your edit. These are things that have to be done right from the beginning of your edit. So just even having those things in mind when you're getting started with your edit or your video concept really helps the end result be more professional and intentional. I hope that helped you and gave you some ideas. If you have any questions or want to know more in depth about how I do some of these things, leave a comment down below and I can do more tutorials in depth on each one of these. And if you would like a written version of this, I have a blog post at my website, anakcreates.ca/blog, so go check that out. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you in the next video. Till then, always be creating.